Hi, it's Darnell with Wave Oven Recipes. Today I'm going to be making some ciabatta bread. I'm going to be initially starting that dough in my bread machine, but I'm going to do the proofing of that dough and the actual baking of that dough in the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven. So let's get started on some ciabatta bread. Alright, so we start out by making our dough in the bread machine. So the ingredients going in are 1.5 cups water, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil I'm using. And now I'm going to put in 3¼ cups of bread flour. Now I'm just going to carve out a small well for my yeast to go into, right in here. Now I'm going to put in 1½ teaspoons of my bread machine yeast. They tell me when this dough comes out it should be very kind of wet, gooey type of dough. So I'm going to get the bread machine turned around. Alright, I have my bread machine set to the dough setting, and that takes 1.5 hours, so I'm going to start it and I'll bring you back when the dough is done in the bread machine. Then we'll get to the next steps, which will include the proofing and all. Alright, so our dough has come out of the bread machine, and this is the dough directly out of the bread machine. You see it's got like some bubbles in there and such. That's what you should have with ciabatta bread. We'll take care of that later. But this step right here is kind of an intermediary step before we get to proofing the dough in the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven. We're supposed to take it out with some lightly floured hands and have this sheet that we're going to put it on also floured. Alright, and the reason everything's supposed to be floured is because this dough is sticky. So I'm getting it on out of here. You can see it's kind of gooey, real gooey dough. And that's how it's supposed to be right now. Real sticky and gooey. Alright, got some more of this dough that was in there out. And so just kind of put it together there like this. And so now that it's like this, you're supposed to cover it with a large bowl. So there's my large bowl covering it. I'm supposed to let it just rest there for about 20-30 minutes. I'll give it about 30 minutes and then we'll come back, and that's when we get into the actual proofing. Alright, so things have been under the bowl, and maybe I needed a bigger bowl, but it's filling up the bowl basically. So at this point I've got my baking pan. I'm just going to spray it down good with some cooking spray so that things are very non-stick on there. And so now I've got to get my bowl off of my dough. And I'm just going to real quick get some flour on my hands here. Now I'm just going to cut in half the dough, which is now very big dough. And this recipe is from the bread machine, the Quicentral bread machine slate of recipes. So this is one of theirs. It's supposed to make 2 loaves of ciabatta bread. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to form basically an oval into both of these. They're almost ovals now anyway. And going to put it onto the baking pan and get it floured up. So go ahead and put it on. And due to their size, I'm not sure if, maybe I should just do 1, but I'm going to try and squeeze 2, and if things just get too big, then we'll have to figure something out for that circumstance, which may happen, by the way. Now I'm going to lightly flour these. Just put some flour over them. Give them a dusting. Supposed to give them like a nice dusting of flour. Alright, now we've reached the part where we put this into the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven for the proofing and final rise. Alright, so I'm going to just press the button to wake things up. Going to go down to proof. Now that we're down to proof, I've got it set for 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 45 minutes. You can proof for between 45 minutes and an hour. So I'm just going to hit start and just let things proof for 45 minutes and try and keep an eye on things. Hope it doesn't merge into one lump again. Get some things cleaned up here. I'll bring you on back. Alright, so we're coming down to the final seconds of the proofing stage. And so while you're proofing it, you're supposed to leave it covered in a warm spot. And so the oven functions as that, but when I've got to get it warmed up for cooking, it's got to be out for just a moment. So I'm actually going to get out of this. So now I just go to bake and go into bake, and I want 425 degrees. Cooking time is supposed to be 25 to 30 minutes, so let's say 25 for this cooker. And I'm going to just stand there and hit start. It's going to preheat. Once it's preheated, then I'm going to stick my dough on in there, and just before I stick the dough in, I'll have one other little thing that I'm going to do. Alright, so things are at the temperature we need. Now I just wet my fingers a little and just kind of pop down some of the bubbles. Just dimple it a little bit. Try and pop some of the bubbles so that things don't poof up too much. It's starting to touch. They're starting to touch a little bit now that they came out of proofing. But we're going to go ahead and we'll just have two close ciabatta loaves there. So things are cooking now for 25 minutes. I'll bring you back. Alright, so there's 3 minutes left to go in the 25-minute cook. So it's been going 22 minutes, but things look really done in there to me. So I'm going to just open up and going to slide it on out. They look really done from my point of view. Alright, so I'm going to pull them out because I believe that these ciabatta bread loaves are finished. I guess I should stick a, well, I'm sure if I stuck a knife in it, it'd come out clean, so I'm not even going to do that. Because it's not like they were battered to begin with, they were dough to begin with, so. They look done. I mean, they look really done, so. And they smell done, you know, so. I'm going to let them set for a moment just to cool down. It'll be a lot easier to cut if I let them cool down a bit. So I'm going to let them cool down, and then we'll get into some like cutting, plating, and good old taste testing. Alright, so we have our bread here, our ciabatta bread. So I'm just going to take one of the rolls. They didn't merge much at all. Just a little, you know, on the end there, they just kind of touched. So I'm just going to take and do a slice down the middle. Here we have our ciabatta bread. You can see the holes in there like you want from some ciabatta bread. I'm just going to cut this slice off here. Now I'm going to go ahead and plate this. There we have it. And I'm going to break one of my general rules. I usually don't put any special condiments or spreads or anything on anything that I do for a taste test, but I'm going to make an exception for this bread. I'm going to put a little of this spread that I like on it. And I know different people like different spreads for different reasons, but this is the one of my personal preference. So I'm sure you have your own favorites for your own reasons. Alright, let's get the camera adjusted and do some taste testing. Alright, our ciabatta bread. Have another look at it. Let's do taste. Let's do one more taste. Alright, so for as long as it, well, not as long, but as brown as it seemed to cook, I thought it was going to be like really hard on the outside or something, but it's not hard. It's a soft chew. It's a soft, chewy chew. So it turned out really well, and really turned out better than I expected. I thought I was going to bite into it and it'd be hard or something like that because of how brown it got. But no, it's nice, chewy chew. And so it finished faster than, you know, the prescribed time, which is good. And it turned out well. So about 22 minutes, probably could have done 20 minutes. Turned out good. So, you know, it proofs. The Cuisinart Digital Air Fryer Toaster Oven can proof the dough, can bake the dough. Turns out well. So it's doing real good. And, you know, you can leave your comments, give me your thoughts. I have lots of recipes at superwaveovenrecipes.com. If you ever want to get to this YouTube channel, just go to waveovenrecipes.com, Twitter, Instagram, Wave Oven Recipes. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and good eating.